My energy ecliptic. Love's circle persona. Self-love, best love, world love. You knows my honor. Greetings. I be your host, Judgement Peter Bastion. In peace, prosperity, power. It is my honor to share my affirmations and visualizations and unison manifestations in all satisfaction. The mind, body, and soul is to grow in all facets. Presented in procreation, this is MB19 podcast show. May you be at peace in whatever the action is proclaiming, ascending the greatest of all satisfaction like your goal is a bullseye, your actions the dart. Believe in you no matter the ending or the start. For your life, such precious life, must you claim it. What is judgment? What is judgment confined to? It is all from a perspective of negativity. In today's episode, we'll decode viewership that we have with judgment that in the same spectrum when you think about manipulation, right? Somebody being manipulative, somebody being manipulating someone else, take on this strong hold of coming with a negative energy from the idea of controlling somebody else or demising somebody else's viewership upon controlling that view to be that person that's creating such manipulation, right? But also in the opposition of manipulation. So as adults, we manipulate kids in regards to whether it's doing good in school, whether it's eating vegetables, right? We manipulate them by saying things or making promises amongst if doing this going to get you that, right? So with the manipulation perspective, I think it goes in the same way how we negatively view manipulation. We have a negative view with judgment. And it's very important for me to utilize this conversation today because I'm starting to see, for most people, judgment is viewed from a content perspective of let me rephrase that. For most people, I see judgment is damn from this perspective of it's not good to do, right? But realistically, judgment is just a way of life. Because when you open the idea of what is option, what is choosing, what is liking, what is loving, all these idealization come from a view of having some sort of judgment behind, right? So to someone to say to not have judgment is someone to tell you to not be alive, to not be living. And I think what judgment for most of us, the majority of us, means in society is that, like, don't look into somebody else as if like you can't be them, right? To me, judgment wholeheartedly for most people goes from the idea of like treating others as you want to be treated, right? So you having more of a care, compassion to one another, right? I think judgment for most people learn that because as kids, the adults or guardians, whoever upraising you to learn that terminology, judgment, is telling you like, hey, if this person is, God forbid, handicapped and stuff like that, right? Don't judge, don't judge, don't judge. Whatever, if it's a financial thing, don't judge, right? There's so many viewership that's given from the idealization of judging that naturally for most people, judgment becomes something totally different, right? So most people look at judgment is when they're talking about somebody. Judgment is when they're laughing about something or someone, right? Judgment comes with a grasp of being wrong in a situation. But rarely do you find that people understand that really judgment is just you having your own views of things, right? So realistically, what people have in that miscomprehension of judgment is that have judgment by respect, right? Because even a judge themselves, right, talking legal, right, civil, like through laws, through laws themselves, a judge have to judge. They have to judge the situation, right? Uh, uh, the lawyers, right, the prosecutor, the defendant, whoever, right? It's all a spectrum, like where the judge have to, view both sides and make a calculative or make a decision by the legality based on what was presented, right? So judgment itself is something that nature itself encounter, right? Polarity itself is polarity itself is a symbol of judgment, right? Duality, the virtue of likes and dislike, love and hate, that naturally have its judgmental states in our own livelihood, right? So I bring that up because people have such a niche or cleanse with this idea of like not realizing that's all we're doing. And more or less, the problem is that we have too much of an issue pretending that we're not judging when we're actually judging. So, in that statement, in clarity of that statement, I would say that like when a lot of people do things in our society, which are most people are followers, they do things from the idea of how other people is going to view it, right? The outer persona view. So the most confident people in the world, you realize, have less care for how they're being judged, right? They found profound power within the idealization of being themselves, and they understand that within their imperfection is the perfection of being themselves. That one soul, that one mind, that one human, right? That one body. So for most people, they go into this world giving answers amongst what the taboo society states would be the correct answer, or what's the most popular, right? But for those who are non-caring to other judgment, they do as they please for the caring of themselves and their surrounding. And I'm not speaking of the nonchalant idea of not caring what people do. I'm not speaking on the viewership of having to put people down so you can feel better about yourself. Not anything. I'm far less speaking. I'm not far less. I'm more speaking into regard those who have confidence, self-love, and self-care enough to understand that I don't like this, whether it's based amongst people, person, or thing, but that doesn't alternate that person to be somebody great. That doesn't belittle that person to be less of a human being, right? So it's like a lot of, I won't say a lot of time because I personally haven't been in a situation, but even the romance, sexual partners, the people that we call friends, right? A lot of, again, let me not say a lot because I personally don't do that. But for some in this society, they carry these relationships because of a mental judgment. Some people have partners, friendship, you know, have certain job because of either their compassionate judgment among somebody, right? feeling so sorry for someone that they feel like, okay, what, to make that person happy, I'll do my part by claiming that partnership, whether it's a relationship, like I said, work partnership, right? So many variations, right? Or vice versa, that person feel that person is such a great person that they like them so much that they willing to abide abide by that person's schedule to be around them, right? So among the judgment of compassion or the judgment of desire, can somebody be led of doing and being with somebody what that's not, perfect for them? Looking about it wholeheartedly, judgment itself is its own balancing act, right? Amongst not having a balance of judgment of your surrounding and having a balance of judging yourself, right? You can judge yourself being someone that you can see within yourself being lazy, being a procrastinator, right? Right? There's an idealization. You can be honest with you. You're just being honest. You're being transparent with yourself, right? It's the way within that judgment of ourselves that that judgment is proclaimed to be negative or positive, right? Amongst, like I just said, damn, bro, I just been sitting down all day today. I need to get up and find something to do. That's a positive perspective of your own self-judgment, right? As compulsive. Damn, I have no life. All I do is see my day pass by. Like, damn, I got nothing going on. Like, right. So, as we both can see, one judgment was viewership of seeing the current state and having an affirmative view of what we're doing in the next state, right? As compared, then you have the next viewership of saying like, this is where we at, and it's always gonna be like this. So we judge. It's human nature. We're just naturally judged, right? The scary looking guy or female to a little kid, the kid's gonna cry. The kid's gonna, run behind a guardian if they feel as compelled to feel that fear, right? Or even the energy of a bad soul, right? As adult we don't even feel that, but the kids can feel that. Judgment is its nature way of being, right? Animals judge each other, right? The weather and land has a judgment amongst each other, right? There's a there's a cause and effect that goes into how the soil react to heat, how the soil react to water, how the soil react to the cold. Everything has a factual factor, right? So idealistically, I think judgment keeps people having the ability to really find their true purpose in life, to really find whether it's through that connectivity of your life calling, whether it's your life partner. It should it's perfectly fine to judge, right? It's just the idealization of having a disrespect within your judgment. It's the idealization of having somebody making someone feel belittled, right? Having to let somebody down just to pick yourself up. Those are sort of judgment that I think we have so much of an understanding of judgment, but we don't understand everything else that we do in life is judgment, right? So the religion perspective of a certain religious group is going against the other religious group. Yet the goal and the idealization is to say, preach one God, preach one love, but realistically, every religious group have a self-judgment amongst theirs and others groups. So we all judge. We all judge. You know what I'm saying? The world is a beautiful place. If you like skinny women, God bless you. Whatever your frame is, if that's your thing, that's your thing. Hopefully, if you're a big man, there's a skinny woman that's into big man, right? And within diversity, within so many human options that we have, we should be in the place of respecting and enjoying ourselves. But realistically, the problem with us is that judgment is, I don't think we have a problem in our society with judgment. It's just more so, I feel like more people have a problem with that, like, if there is some sort of judgment, I want most people to be on my side and agree with me. And with that comes majority rules. And with that, majority people that's followers in life, they're going to make their decision based off that majority rather than what they feel compassionate to, right? What's it comparing to them in mutuality, whether it's people placing the thing, whether it's thought process, whether it's views of life, right? Majority of people that are followers are, whether they feel that whatever they feel inside their mind is right. If the outside mind say most don't feel that way because they don't have that true love for leading them, so their own soul, is easily to be compacted by the judgment of what the surroundings say. So I don't personally take judgment as to be something bad. I don't take it something as to be necessarily, again, I'm not saying judging is good, like, oh yeah, judge everything, like yeah. It's a balance of, I look at judgment is the understanding and the growth of one getting to know oneself better. You know what I mean? Like, think about even from the beginning as babies, right? Even if it's a girl, if she's naturally into the color pink, purple, so on, right? And the boy is more into blue, whatever, green, right? Human nature tell us judgment comes. It's a natural plague, right? Human nature tell us that because with dietary, amongst food, we have means of option. With clothing, means of option. Like, there's so many variations. How we create houses, how houses look, right? Some cars, everything has a diversified portfolio in a way of how it can be looked or expressed when you think about life. There's not too many things in life that's singularly one way, right? A male personal private parts, all of us have different sizes, different shapes, different colors. Vice versa for the women. Individuality is what makes the world beautiful, right? And we need to stop harping other people to diminish their greatness in order for other people to feel equal. Like, if I bust my ass to make a life that's 1% life, let me live and be that 1%, right? Meaning, if the average person is utilizing 4,000 hours out their lifetime just to become a 9 to 5 worker. And again, I'm not saying that in expression to be malicious to anyone that has a 9 to 5 job or even with the thought process of like, hey, I just want to standardize life, right? Nothing is wrong with that, right? But at the same time, nothing can be wrong as well. If somebody said my goal in life is to have the most money, trading there, being there, my goal in life is to entertain, whatever it is, like, we can't have this world to think that everything should be equal, everything should be balanced. Realistically, that's not how, a lot of us don't work for the same perspective. Some may want to work hard for their body, right? Put in hours, training, the fucking discipline. When they could be eating bad and so on and so forth, they say, no, I'm going to do this because this is my willpower, this is my dedication, right? Some may feel like, okay, I might train, but I don't care to eat as well, so on and so forth. Some may say, I don't care at all. So now we have, down the line, some who's going to get affected with health issues, God forbidding death, right, because of not taking care of their body. Some may have to do or take different other things just to compensate whatever they're going through, right? So for that person that decided to take the best, healthiest option, healthiest way in their lifestyle, should everybody be propelled to live a healthy lifestyle? Although that person was the one that was dedicated and kept the discipline to live that, right? Or how about even the person that decide, I won't even say the term cheat, but say, hey, I get plastic surgery. I eat whatever I want. I get plastic surgery. I'll buy whatever. Or Ozempic. Right? Whatever that person decided to do, right? That's amongst them to what they define to be as their own success. But the whole point of that conversation is to say we all naturally gonna have our judgment in life. Though that's really the only way you're gonna know what you like or dislike. And I think it's best for us to be truthful to each other, right? Meaning like I'm an attractive male, but that's not to every woman, right? There's some women I'm like drop dead gorgeous, like oh my god, like you're a beautiful man, this, that, and third. There's some women that oh you're all right. There's some women that's like ew, not my type at all. That's a beautiful thing. That's like for me in life. That's a beautiful thing because to me, like, ew, you're not my type at all. Like even if that woman was the most beautiful thing, she set a stone that mutually she don't find me the way I feel about her. And that's respect to me. That's a blessing because it's like in my younger days, that's what I'm saying. For example, in a man perspective, I can say this where I grew up with this mindset, ooh, you like it, I love it, girl. Like just trying to get as many girls as you want. You know what I'm saying? You don't have a care for a direct personality. You don't have a care for how girls are upraised or anything like that. And I'm sure it was probably the same thing for young girls at the same time when I was upraising. It's more like just getting the experience of having that boyfriend, having that girlfriend, whatever it goes about, right? We ain't necessarily groom ourselves to understand what our like and dislike is. You know what I'm saying? We let our society, our surrounding plague that. So for me, having now the ability to one to be able to accept whatever judgment of me based on whatever somebody may be, it is what it is. But also, I have a complete judgment of what my likes and dislikes are too. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be distasteful. Like I'm a male, I love the vagina, but just because a vagina want to fuck me, I don't have to fuck her if I'm not intrigued amongst to fuck her as that, right? So there's a level of maturation for me that judgment allowed me to grow from, right? Which was either just even think about it where for most people they'll have this idealization of like that just from a man perspective, I can say, oh, a female's a hoe. She let me fuck on the first night, or she let this dude fuck on the first night. She a hoe, this, that, and the third. But damn it, if I've done that, if I experienced that in that same magnitude, I'm a whore myself. You feel me? So for me, judgment opened the doors for me to understand my views and also my dues. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard for anyone to go in a lifetime to say, to point the finger without being able, without having any sort of recognition of how that goes back to them. Unless you're a selfish person, of course. Selfish is mad easy to just say that person, this world, that world. You know what I'm saying? It's always going to be somebody else's fault. You know what I'm saying? If you can't take the accountability and ownership of things, you know what I'm saying? So for me, I have no issue with judgment and both sides of the coin. And like I say, judgment has a dual side because, like I say, for most of us, we know judgment has to be one side. Like, oh, it's the no side, it's the don't side. But realistically, if I'm telling myself or if I'm raising kids or surrounding to like what they like and naturally what you like going to have an opposition. You know what I'm saying? It's not that you hate what you don't like, you feel me? It's just realistically you have a judgment that intrigue you to what you like more. You know what I'm saying? That pursue you onto that side more. But the problem with judgment would be if you're a marijuana smoker talking shit about people that drink. Like, motherfucker, is you dumb? Judgment and stupidity is the idealization of My race is the best race. Fuck all the other races. My people are the best people. Fuck all the. It's those are judgment of stupidity that I wholeheartedly agree upon. That makes no sense. But realistically, my likes and dislikes are for me. My judgment of the sort of food that I eat, that's for me, right? My judgment of the sort of women that I interact with, the sort of friends that I carry, that's my choice. That's my freedom of ability to look upon what's best for my life. Why wouldn't I judge, right? Because all I'm doing is choosing the option that life's given me. So don't derail your perspective of life from feeling if your judgment doesn't balance what the majority agrees upon, that then you at a wrong. No, like, bro, if everybody in this in a room is wrong from your perspective, the best thing you gotta do is severe ties before ties burn. Like, you don't gotta fight and argue that. And that's another thing I think with judgment that a lot of people have a problem of not understanding. It becomes a judgment perspective when it is that, like, when you maliciously tell somebody that their views or their purpose has a have a opposite intent amongst rather what that person said it is to them. Like, if I tell you that, like, football is awesome, it saved my life, I learned so much things from that, and somebody come back and be like, you're a dumbass for liking football. Football is stupid. Football makes people dumb, or they just make so much money and it makes no sense because they're acting that and this, that, and third. Amongst your opinion, see, for me, because I'm a strong-willed person, I'm gonna just take that to be your opinion. You know what I'm saying? But realistically, you wholeheartedly in a wrong because you're demoralizing my judgment of what football means to me, right? So opinions are just that. And really, if you become a person that's strong-willed, you have a strong power, and also just your own self-confidence and self-care to your likes and dislikes. Who gives a shit? Like we're just. I think also too. I'm glad that just caught up with me. I think with judgment, it's such a big deal in our society because we're so fucking sensitive. We're so fucking soft. You know what I'm saying? It's like people, people. We're living where it's like, oh, don't tell nobody shit about themselves. Like, you got motherfuckers that's screaming loud for attention, right? Loud as hell for attention. But the moment that their attention get the wrong notice or the attention that they didn't want, they become a victim. Every fucking day we're seeing that. Whether it's the woman whore that gets called out and now, oh, it's disrespect. Vice versa for the man whore. It's just like, bro, like, you can't go out in one way and decide you want the attention, and once the attention come about, you want to control how the attention should be given or how you should receive it. No, it doesn't work like that. You should have more confidence in yourself if you want to be out there like that, right? And even if you are not out there, you have to understand this is what the world is. Like, some people, even when you think about the idealization of how a comedian work, right? Some comedians joke about their worst days, their worst moments, and make that become something laughable, right? So even with that, when you think about judgment, for some people, their worst moment is the moment that they decide to be less serious, right? More goofy, right? And for some people, in their worst moment, that's when they decide to feel more compelled to stick to that emotion, to whatever that emotion is in that moment, right? So even with that, where you have two people that's possibly in a mindset of growing or hoping that this hard moment go, but the way that they go about it is two different realms, right? So even the way you look at how somebody approach things or do things, it's a okay judgment for you to have a like or dislike about it. It's just immature of you if you harness that to be exactly that. If you exemplify your internal emotion for that person, thing, or place to be 100% correct, as if like your judgment or your perspective can't be faltered, right? Can't be alternated to be something else. That's to me the incorrect view that judgment relay. But who you should be with, who your friends are, what type of things you like, the type of things you into, freedom of choice. You should love having that opportunity and that ability. It's your freedom of choice. That can't be something that harpens you to be a bad person. You know what I'm saying? Because you decide that whether you're a professional athlete or you're not a professional athlete, but you're so that much invested into your body or into your mind that you train 8 hours or you make that to be your lifestyle, right? How does that to be bad, right? And even vice versa. That person that want to get obese, not to say want to get obese, but may have trouble losing weight or may, like I said, may not care for their health like that, right? Yes, we as society can be like, hey, we know this could be detrimental because we know the cause and effect that goes into your health. If your health not being your wealth, the side effects that comes with that, right? So we naturally know better, so we want to do better with our health. And it's the same factor with our finance, right? But realistically, everybody's not going to be the millionaires in this lifetime. Everybody's not going to be the healthiest in their lifetime, right? But we can accustom to that person to say, hey, be careful. But realistically, it's up to that person to decide to make that change themselves, right? They have to have the internal judgment of themselves to say, man, this is not healthy. Like, I can die from not doing anything about my health, right? It is what it is, but it's internally bad if I'm like, oh, you fat piece of shit. Oh, you ain't shit. You just ain't nothing with your life. Look at me. Why don't you be like me? Those the judgment to me that 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 supersedes why you shouldn't judge. But to me, realistically, that's about 20% of judgment. Everything else that judgment provides, to me, provides in a more positive way because judgment is just you having a viewership, a perspective, a spectrum of how you see things. You know what I mean? So to end this, I think we need to comprehend wordings, like I was saying earlier with manipulation, right? We need to comprehend judgment from a self view, right? Self view perspective and define that judgment, right? To judge yourself, right? It's okay to judge yourself. It's the ways of our judgment, right? Because what am I doing if I'm telling myself do better, be better? Isn't that judging? But then again, somebody just see that to be positive, right? it's it's just the way we go about doing things. Again, I'm the worst person. Nobody likes me. Da, da, da. Nobody. That's a negative judgment. So judgment itself is just like energy pole, positive and negative. We just got to figure out what works the best, right? Because for me, even within motivation, right? There's ways of motivating. Everybody doesn't get motivated the same way. There's some people that you have to be softened to amongst the way you express things. There's some people that's like, talk to them direct, whether it's cursing or yelling, right? That uplifts them. So even with that, with that itself, with motivation comes a viewership and duality of judgment. Sex, kids, like how you raise kids, everything has a viewership of judgment, right? It's going to take that man or woman to have that balance and compartmentalize what's good or what's bad amongst their relationship to raise that kid into that unity of their family understanding, their family principles and morals. So don't harping with that idea because to me, that idea represents the world. You know what I'm saying? Because like as a whatever family that you have, you and your family are going to have personal likings of food, personal liking of doings, whether it's how you spend time, you know what I'm saying, where you go, places and adventures that y'all like personally. That doesn't harpen anybody else's family. It only harpens anybody else's family when we, then that personal family that I was just speaking on, decide to make everything that we do to lessen anybody else around us. Until when we discuss our principle or more, we talk about how other people that do this are bad people or not good people. That's when we're demoralizing our judgment. But to have a judgment of what's important for us, that's all good to go. We all gonna do that as humans, you know. What color hair you like your girl in? If that's a priority for you, it's a priority for you. If you like somebody that speak proper, that's not into hoodbonics, it's a thing for you. You know what I'm saying? And people be so scared, like, oh my God, God's looking at me, I'm judging. No, God gave you option to pick off, to pick what you like. Like, why live a life of misery? And the majority of us, I think, catches misery within our judgment because judgment makes us feel so wrong that about judging. But realistically, it's about it's about knowing that you judge, but having compassion of the way that you judge. Right? Again, somebody may find me, oh my God, beautiful as hell, and for me, I might find them not attractive. But within my judgment, I have the right to say, oh, no, thank you, right? Absolutely. But from that judgment, can I make it a negative judgment if I say, oh, hell no, who you think you are? You think you're going to get a chance with me? How the fuck you think that was possible? You know what I'm saying? That's when that judgment is it's a, it's a disgusting judgment, right? It's a, when you see people that's like, oh, you ain't shit, you ain't going to be shit, it's a, yeah, you just talking about yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's like a lot of time, let somebody speak of their ill will. They'll speak up, let them speak of their malicious views of you. They're really speaking of themselves. You know what I'm saying? So when somebody judge me and say, hey, you can be better or do better, what the fuck is that? That's motivation. That's appreciation in my eyes. You know what I'm saying? Like, but again, for most of us, it's not how, it's not what is being said, it's how it's being said. So a lot of us take everything with this approach of it has to be the way I want it to be presented. Or most of the time, the message is lost, you know what I'm saying? A lot of time people want messages the way that they want them. And realistically, that that really diminish your own way to judge yourself because now it makes you more defensive, right? Like you're looking at more ways of like, I don't like this, so I want it to look like this, and that's it. Rather than you actually being able to grow in a lot of situations where like, okay, I may like it like this, but if I'm dual to my idealization of understanding that it's perspectives, right? Then okay, I can hear this out. I'm still not feeling that. It is where it is. That's that person. Cool. But for most time, you learn for those that have their own perspective and they hate that feeling of being judged, they naturally will rampage with a defense mechanism of their judgment, and now it becomes a debate combat amongst my judgment versus your judgment, rather than seeing a unity of differences of, okay, this is multiple ways that we can do things, right? So that's kind of the way I rather re-educate myself from, even if I had a prerequisite judgment amongst people, amongst something or a person, right? It'll be like, okay, that's what I thought first, but I'm glad that I got a different perspective, because now I have a more hindsight and understanding of this thing or a person, whatever it may be, right? Once I only knew it one way, now I know it two way. It makes my judgment of that person, thing, place, whatever, it's a better judgment. You know what I'm saying? Because I have a duality viewership of it. So within judgment, we're gonna leave it like that, and that's to understand that judgment is normal. It's part of life. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to judge yourself, and again, it's about the balancing of how you judge yourself. And you can see negativity, you just have to transition into a positive note, right? This is a current emotion, and how do I transition it, right? Within judgment, if you don't judge yourself, how do you get self awareness, right? How do you view your surroundings, right? It has to be. So I would say more or less, don't be defensive when it comes to judging yourself and your surroundings. Just have a balance amongst knowing what your judgment means, right? That it doesn't take anyone else to be down for you to come up, right? Your surrounding, maybe not wanting the same aspirations, not having the same inspiration of you, right? It doesn't have to be something angry, like it's something that you get angry about where people don't see things your way, nothing like that. It's just more so like give you more motivation to do it your way, the way you see it, right? And not have such a negative judgment on those people. Again, because you gotta look into your vision as 101. It's a blessing when a lot of times we can be understood by our surrounding. But at times too, you have to have more of a judgment of your own self. Like, okay, if I'm the only one seeing it, let me find a way to make a way as being the only one. Thanks for thankful for your time today. Again, this has been another episode of MB19 Podcast Show. I'm your humble host, Judgement Peter Bastion. In peace, prosperity, power, I send to you in all satisfaction. Affirm, visualize, and manifest. The daily ritual to your ascending to what you're becoming. The plan, you know what I'm saying? The vision is what you see in the mirror. The reflection is the action that you grow within becoming. So with love, I send to you. Until next time, my friend, peace, prosperity, power of every minute, every second, of every fucking hour.